Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Between the Distance. This is podcast number 8, all about Charlie. So I'm gonna give a disclaimer. We might have to take a break at some point to put Charlie back because Charlie has a lot of energy, and yeah, we don't want him pulling down the equipment. So I have brought in as much treats as I can to try to keep him calm, especially his favorites, the little peanut butter cookies, safe for dogs. um, so yeah, everybody, this is Charlie. Hello,
It's
buddy.
kind of difficult to see with the black on black, I
I
think.
know, like my clothes are black, so um, yeah. So this is our little firecracker dog who doesn't know how to settle. Completely not calm, as you can see. He sees
Well,
the
he knows how
treats.
to settle on the bed,
Okay.
but in the living room he hasn't quite gotten it yet.
Sit and give me a paw. Give me the other paw. Yeah, he's a good boy. Yeah. So, this episode is going to be absolutely everything about Charlie. We're going to talk about how we decided to name him, his favorite things to do, the kind of dog he is, um, just kind of like absolutely everything about Charlie. And he is completely fascinated with the fact that I keep pulling out different treat bags. So, um, where do you want to start?
Uh, I don't know. We never prepare any of these things in advance.
So, Charlie is a Cocker Spaniel breed. There's many different breeds for Cocker Spaniels. Charlie is a working Cocker Spaniel. So, all the little curly, fluffy ones that you see, those are show kind of dogs. So they can be like an English Cocker Spaniel, an American Cocker Spaniel, but Charlie is working. So that's probably why he has a ton of energy. So the big difference is the way that he looks. He looks smaller. He has these like fluffy ears, like long and curly, and he has these things. We call him it's his flames. So they're like off the back of his arms, and he has it on the bottom of his tail. So we call it his little flames. But other than that, everywhere else is really kind of sleek and short. And there are some that are, areas that are a little bit longer, kind of medium hair. Um, he's going to steal them from me. Uh, but he doesn't look like what people think typical Cocker Spaniels, look like. So, he's very smart. He is very, hey, wait. Can you wait for me, please? Wait. He's very smart and he knows a lot of tricks. So at least we got that part down. The training has not failed in a sense, but I call him our demon. I'm pretty sure our house is possessed, and his name is Charlie.
Yeah.
You are cute though. You are very very cute. Come here. Sit down. Come on, sit. Sit. Good boy. Here's your treat. Um, so yeah. So there's a few different things that Charlie likes to do. He understands the word doggy daycare.
Most of the things he likes to do, though, revolve around causing trouble.
Oh yes, he is trouble. Um, he doesn't understand the difference between house and outside. So
Yeah.
that's a big thing. Um, he he's calm now because he's getting what he wants, which is food. And it's special food. It's not like his everyday food. So it's sit, sit down, sit down, be a good boy, sit, good boy. So yeah, so he's really super excited right now because of all the treats. But um, yeah, after a while of doing this, he'll start kind of acting entitled to the treats. So then he'll start becoming rambunctious. So working Cocker Spaniels are used for farm animals. They usually do herding. Sit down. Herding. In the UK, they're used for truffle hunting. So they will go and dig the truffles instead of pigs.
Yeah, 'cause don't pigs try to eat them.
Yeah. Um, they are also really good bird dogs. So sit. So when you go hunting, and you're looking for a retriever dog, working Cocker Spaniels will probably be for you. We didn't expect Charlie to be a working Cocker Spaniel. We weren't told. Um, but we kind of started to notice that his hair was a little bit shorter. Didn't quite look like other Cocker Spaniels. Of course, we went to the magical place of Google, and yeah, we figured out he is a working Cocker Spaniel. So, can I break it in half? You're kind of eating these really quickly, so don't want you to have tummy ache. Um, yeah. So, Charlie, he is a very special dog.
Yes. I'm kind of
um,
not talking much because I'm sort of paying attention to him to make
yeah,
sure he doesn't
we
do
have to
anything.
like pay extra attention to him so he doesn't like pull everything down because our headsets are corded.
Yep.
So, can you come here, please, and sit down? You're a very good boy. Yeah, you're very smart. You're very smart. You go. So, um, yeah, we got, or so we started talking about getting a dog, when right before I left last November. We wanted a dog, something that we could share together, even though we were long distance. Wait. So we decided that we would start looking for a dog for our Christmas present to share together. You're about to fall off. Your booty is hanging off the chair, buddy. Can you sit down? Hey, can you sit down? Hey, woohoo, sit down. Lay down. Good boy. You're a good boy. Yeah. If you just lay like that, you get treats. Here you go. So yeah, we decided that when I got back, because I left in November of 2022, um, that we would start looking for a dog. And so, how we determined what kind of dog we wanted was when I was a teenager, my mom got us a Cocker Spaniel named Jazz, and he was an American Cocker Spaniel. And then Connor had a dog named Taz. So that was kind of cool between us, is that our dogs had
Rhyming
similar
names.
names. So Connor did not want to get another lab, because he kind of felt like he might be replacing Taz.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I would really like to have a Cocker Spaniel again. So we decided to get a Cocker Spaniel because of Jazz. And then we wanted him to be black because that was what Taz looked like. He was black.
Yeah.
So, in turn, we now have this demon that possesses our home. And we can't exorcise it.
And Taz had like the little white stripe on his chest
Yeah.
too, but Charlie's goes like all the way up his neck.
Yeah. So Charlie has this nice little white stripe hanging out right there. You're a good boy, huh? You being patient. Can you wait? Can you wait? Be patient. Wait. Paw. Paw. Give me paw. He's a good boy. You're very smart. So, um, we got Charlie on New Year's Eve last year, and I had got back to the UK on Christmas, so I was only back for about 6 days before we got him. Um, sit down, you a good boy. Yeah. So we found him from a lady who lived in Southport, which isn't too far from here. No, no. You need to calm down. Are we gonna have to put you away? Are you gonna have to go away? You don't want no more treats? Are you full? Are you full? Yeah. Can you sit down? Here you go. Do you want to take a very brief break? And now everybody's seen Charlie, the
I can
cutest
hold
little
him
guy.
for a few minutes if you want.
Do you want to
See
hold him?
if you're chill.
Yeah, here.
Come
Oh,
here, buddy.
heavy. Oh my goodness.
Come on.
He's 26 pounds.
Come here.
So he is very, very heavy.
You had lots of treats, buddy.
So we found him through a lady, who had him in Southport, and it's not too far. So she brought him down to us on, New Year's Eve, and before we actually saw him in person when she brought him to us, we had a video call, and she had two black and two brown cocker spaniels, and we absolutely fell in love with him because his face. She sent me a picture of the cutest little face, and I was like, that's it. That's the one that I want. So she brought him, and he looked so much bigger in the picture. And when she brought him, he could fit in my hands. He was so tiny and so cute. I instantly fell in love with him. And turns out he is a Halloween dog. So
Yeah.
he will be 1 year old this upcoming month. And we are super excited because, of course, everyone knows that Halloween's my favorite time of the year. So, are you ready to go back to your bed? Can you sit down? Sit down, please. So, we're going to take a brief break, just 2 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put him back in his bed because he's starting to unsettle. He's wanting to run all over the place. So, we will be right back. All right, I'm back. Yeah, so after a while, Charlie's attention span just doesn't quite hit the mark.
Yeah. Like we can keep them out for much longer periods when like things are more sort of puppy proofed.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the current way we've got to have the podcast set up with like the headsets and then having the mouse so that I'm able to control things without reaching all the way up there. Yeah, there's just a few too many cables. And the one thing he struggles with is settling in one place for too long until he's like super tired. Um, so he rarely likes to like come see me for a few minutes and then he jumps over to see you for a few minutes. And if he does that right now, the laptop will end up on the floor.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
We give him the chance.
To break everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just go ahead and put him away for now. Um, but yeah, Charlie is a Halloween dog, and so he'll be one this upcoming month.
Mhm.
And we've got to figure out what we're gonna do for him.
Yeah.
We'll probably just make him like a doggy safe cake, like a little
That'd be nice.
cupcake. Um,
Get him some of that ice cream too.
and even though he was born on Halloween, it'll be his like first official Halloween.
Well,
So,
yeah.
somebody on Facebook actually sent me a picture of bat wings for your dog that you can get. I
Oh.
think it was like it was either B&M or Home Bargains.
Mm.
So,
Yeah,
um,
we'll probably get him a costume of some kind. Cake if we can. And then I
yeah.
think he really
Well,
likes that
it's
ice
really
cream.
cheap. It's really cheap to make the doggy safe cake.
Mm.
It's like whole wheat flour, bananas, and like honey. Just
Well, we
very
could go to well, actually we've still got that in there, but it's whether we've still got it in a month's time. Like the dog chocolate.
yeah,
So we can make him a dog chocolate cake
yeah,
by just
it,
melting some of the dog chocolate into it.
yeah. That would be super fun.
Yeah. I
So
think the chocolate we've got's peanut butter flavoured as well.
yeah, we're still just kind of like working out the wrinkles of like what we're gonna do for his first birthday because
Yeah.
it'll be my first Halloween officially living here. We had Halloween last year, but we were still settling into our house, and that's when things started to break down. So we
Yeah.
didn't get to really do anything for Halloween. Um,
We did technically get to celebrate Bonfire Night though.
yeah, we did. I
That
saw
was
the
quite
video.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, we're just trying to figure out what we're gonna do for his first birthday, and for his first official Halloween,
Yeah.
like being not teeny tiny. So, but yeah, she brought him to us, and I instantly fell in love. I was all teary eyed and crying because he was just too cute. Couldn't
He
get
was
over it.
so tiny though.
I know, and he was so sweet.
Yeah.
He just wanted cuddles and kisses, and like he wanted to sleep in the bed with us.
For the first like week, he slept like between our pillows.
Yeah.
So we literally like we both slept on the very edge of the bed and made a bed between our pillows, like we fluffed up a blanket and a pillow between our pillows and sort of put him in there
It
so he
was
couldn't run out and
too
escape anywhere
cute.
because literally he was that small that if he had jumped off in the middle of the night he'd have ended up like on the floor all night. He
Yeah.
was genuinely like,
It's like tiny.
yeah,
Yeah. So, and plus, when she brought him to us, he wasn't potty trained. He
yeah,
was still too small. So we didn't eventually we moved him into his own bed. And, um, it was to make sure that he didn't pee anywhere, poop anywhere. It was contained, had his puppy pads and all that stuff, so it was easy to clean in the morning. And he had a tendency to, if he pooped somewhere, he liked to roll in it. He would like
yeah.
to step in it. It was just like, oh no, because even though he was tiny, he was fast. So
He
he'd like
was.
step all in it and then run all over the house. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no. Yeah, so we moved him. I feel bad about moving him to his own bed because I would really like for him to sleep in the bed with us now because that's
Mm.
just how I've always been about a dog. Like, even my mom's dog, Remy, when I'm at home, she will switch between me and Macy. If I leave my door open when I'm there, she will come and lay on my bed.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, we could cuddle. You
I
know?
think the problem is he very quickly left like the always sleepy puppy face
Yeah.
into the
Crack.
always energetic puppy face.
Crackhead.
And then, like, not to go into too many specifics, but we moved a lot.
Yeah, we did.
so he didn't have a stable environment to learn.
Mhm.
Um, his most chill place is still our bed,
Yeah.
but
I've noticed
he's
that. He
still
just
not used to the room around it.
yeah.
So unless we like give him a lot of attention and sort of encourage him to stay on the bed. I was going to say coerce, but that's the wrong word. It is more just like encourage, and like if he stops playing with his toy, we get him interested in it again by pretending we're taking it from him and we're chewing on it and stuff just by like holding it to our mouth and squeaking it. He starts to get really jealous.
Oh yeah, he's like
Um,
nobody can play with my
yeah.
toy.
Well, the other
Nobody.
toys he doesn't care,
Yeah, it's that
but
toy,
that
that
one,
favorite toy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, so if he stays on the bed, he can chill quite a bit. But then it's like when he realizes his surroundings, he has to jump off the bed and go sniff every corner.
Yep.
And then that's when he starts getting himself into
He is
trouble.
very much nose to floor dog.
Yeah,
He wants to smell absolutely everything. Trying to take him for a walk takes forever sometimes because he just wants to sniff absolutely everything. Um, but yeah, I felt bad about moving him to the bed, but then I felt bad again because I ended up having to leave him here with you,
yeah,
and I was gone for a month and a half because of our visa process. And of course that that factor there were there's a certain way I want to raise my dogs, and
mhm,
by the time I got back it just seemed like he was so used to the way that other people were helping raise him.
yeah.
So,
If we could just clarify without clarifying too much, though, you're not speaking about me.
no, I am not speaking about you.
Yeah,
No. It was almost like I couldn't correct those behaviors because I'd been gone so long and those behaviors weren't corrected.
mhm,
So, he's difficult now because for one because of his breed, and then because he was basically just allowed to do whatever he wanted to,
yeah.
with no consequences.
While
So,
I was in work, anyway.
yeah, and while you were in work, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So I do want to clarify, I wasn't a bad dog parent when
no,
I was
Connor was
able to
not
be
a bad
present.
dog parent.
When I was
We
able to be present.
Yes, he was a
But
good dog parent when he
having a
was able to be
job
present. Yeah.
meant
He
I
had
couldn't
he
be
had
there
to
all day.
work. We entrusted people to watch him,
Yeah,
and
it didn't work
it
out.
did not work out. He became very like he would ignore us kind of as his parents
Yeah.
and really latched on to them because they would let him get away with stuff.
Mhm.
So that was what was frustrating, was trying to break that cycle, and we're still trying to break it. Like
Yeah.
he sometimes is just very defiant. And so what we've done to like try to get him back on track is because he needs a lot of exercise, like a lot of physical playtime, is we've put him in doggy daycare.
Yeah.
So I never thought that I would say I'm gonna put my dog in doggy daycare.
But that's the thing, though. It's not just exercise. It's to socialize them with other dogs
Yeah.
in a safe environment. Like anyone from the UK will sort of know how tense things can be, even in a big park, if someone just decides to not have their dog on a lead.
Yeah.
And then if your dog is on a lead and isn't happy about the dog that's running free, not like, I doubt anyone would think it, but not in like some weird jealousy sense, but in like a fear sense, like a
Yeah.
big dog bounding around, completely not on a leash. Um, yeah, it's fairly worrying. Whereas indoors, he's not too scared.
Yeah.
It's almost
Unless it's
like,
like strangers at the door.
yeah, but it's almost like open, even though like he goes out a lot, when he's out in the open, he almost doesn't seem to feel safe.
Yeah.
I guess because, like, even if he goes to the same big place over and over, it's unfamiliar to an extent.
I think what happened with those behaviors is that while I was in America, I made it very clear that I did not want them to walk Charlie.
Mm,
I was more than happy for him to play in the backyard, in the back garden with the other two dogs. But he was only socialized with the other two dogs
yeah.
because I like he was already sort of like showing attachment to them as like his parents rather than us.
Yeah.
And that was, I didn't want to give him something else that would be more of an attachment of like,
Mhm.
oh, well, I'm used to them walking me. So I'm going to make it a big deal, when I try to walk him.
Yeah.
So I noticed that when I got back, he had a big problem about socializing when we went out.
Mhm.
He was very weird with kids. He didn't want kids anywhere near him, like at all. It was almost like tiny human, like I've never
I
seen
think
one.
something that also caused the problem, though, to start with, because it was almost like a slippery slope, is the fact that we couldn't take him out for so long
Yeah,
because of the whole issue with his needles. Because while the person who sold them to us was very nice, um, and they didn't charge us that much to drive all the way down from Southport, which was a far drive, um, there was a miscommunication about the fact that, like, it at least implied that he'd had like his first needles, um, and it turned out he hadn't,
yep,
and he neglected to tell us that for several weeks. Obviously, we got him thinking he had just had them because when we got him, he was the right age to have just had them. He was the right age where you're supposed to give a dog the first needles. And then here, it's different for you guys there, but here to be considered properly like vaccinated against stuff, you wait 3 weeks. So we waited the 3 weeks. Well, it was at the 2.5 week mark that back and forth with the person who sold them, they finally outright said, "Oh no, he hasn't had the needles."
yeah,
So then we had to schedule the first ones, then a further 3 weeks, and then that. So by the time he first went out anywhere, so he was born on Halloween, 31st of October, 2022, it was like January
yeah.
before he actually got to.
Late
Well,
January,
it
early
was
February.
definitely, yeah, it was the beginning of February actually, because again we did get him on the 31st. What
Actually, I think it was
was it,
later
New
than
Year's
that.
Eve or New Year's Day that we got him?
Actually, I think it might have. Hold on, I think it might have been later actually because
It can't have been later than February.
it was because he got his last round of um his last round of needles the Tuesday before I went back, and that was in March because I had the vet appointment in March. We took him for a walk in Rydell Street because he had had his first round of vax and he had been
You might not want to publicly say our past addresses on the internet, but yeah,
whatever. I didn't put our actual like
I
address.
know, but still.
Um, hold on. Okay. Um,
What's up?
my mom's saying that the podcast is lagging for her because their internet went out again.
Uh,
Um, yeah, so we took him for that one walk one time because it was snowing and we didn't go very far.
yeah.
Um, it was just kind of a hey, look, here's some snow, kind
Mhm.
of thing. Like we didn't want him to miss his first snow day.
Yeah.
And he was fat and happy and healthy and he had grown quite a bit. So we were like, it should be okay to just kind of like take him out just right there on the street, just walk, 2, 3 houses down.
Yeah.
And he was perfectly fine. And then he got his second round of shots right before I left.
Mm.
And then I was able to give him his first walk, like official walk.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Um, so yeah, we take him to doggy daycare so that he can socialize with other humans and other dogs, because he was he was very weird about kids, but he was somewhat weird about other just humans in general. So we were like, well, we'll take him to doggy daycare. We let him do the 1 hour tester, and yeah, she said he was freaking fantastic, and I'm like, what? I take him outside. I take him to the park, and any human gets near him, and he freaks out. But I
Mm.
take him to you, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I'm normal." I'm like, what? And he made friends. He's got a best buddy. His name is Edward. So
Mm.
that's kind of funny. His name is Charlie. Like, if his name was Charles, it'd be like super, fancy Charles and Edward. Like, we got kings over here, kind of thing. Um, yeah, and Edward is a cocker spaniel as well, but he is like the fluffy. So I think he looks like an American cocker spaniel.
Mm.
Like it looks like he doesn't have that whole like fro thing
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
on up top. So he's blonde, he's very sleek, and he's a beautiful dog. So I think he is an American Cocker Spaniel. He's really pretty, and they are the bestest buddies. Um, and he loves his little doggy daycare sitter. So, uh, sorry, I've been up since really early this morning. I had a visa appointment. Whew, so I am tired. Um, yeah. So we when we decided that we were gonna pick his name too, we didn't really have much like in mind. Um, I think what kind of did it for me was that like when you had looked at his picture, he looks black,
Mm.
but he, if you put
It's
him
like a
up in the
really
light,
deep chocolate.
he's a deep, deep like dark chocolate kind of looking,
Yeah.
thing. So I just thought of Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. So I was like, well, what about Charlie? And it just stuck.
Yeah.
My other suggestion was Zero
Mm.
because of Nightmare Before Christmas. So, but I'm glad that we chose Charlie. He definitely is a Charlie. You gotta
I felt
sneeze.
like I was gonna sneeze, and then my nose started to really hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's how we chose Charlie. My
Mhm.
mom keeps bugging me on to pick a middle name
Mm.
because all of our dogs have middle names. So we have Pippa Pearl, Pauline Lorraine, if you want to give an attitude with it, and then Lucy Grace, and then Remington Steele, and she's a girl. um, so Opie Winston and Jackson Teller. Yes, Sons of Anarchy. I'm a huge fan. So I picked their names. And so my mom keeps bugging me on to pick a middle name, and I have no idea what to do. Like I have no idea what we would name him. Like his middle name.
Yeah.
Mm, I don't know.
I'm not picking one right now.
I've sat and thought about it like
Yeah.
so many times. I'm just like I don't know what to make his middle name. So he's still just Charlie for now. But yeah, so Charlie's favorite things to do are beat us up.
Yep.
um, I think I have a scar, a big scar now where he scratched me. Um, so we invested in, I think it was in like May, in a very long lead. I think it was like 50 feet.
It is super long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we would take him for a walk and he would be on a really short lead, and he is that kind of dog that wants to run and play and all that stuff, but we didn't want to be the owners that let him run freely. So we
Mhm.
didn't want to do that. And plus, we didn't know if he would come back. Like we found out quickly that he will come back though.
Yeah,
He's got this thing of where he'll run so far and then he'll turn around and he'll look at me and realize I've gone too far and he'll come
yeah.
back. So
Like he
he
realizes we're not with him, and he's like, "Oh no."
yeah, like safety blanket.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there was a couple of times that he did get off his lead, and he backed out of his harness because it was too big, and then the harness broke once.
hmm
So yeah, it was just a series of unfortunate events.
yeah. We went from the collar that started snapping open, so we got him a harness. That, like the strap, completely the stitching came away from the harness. Um, and then we were debating whether to get him a small or medium harness of the one he's got now. And you were like, he's gonna grow. He's just on the verge of the medium one. If we get him the small one, he'll get too big. And I was like, okay then.
Those
So we
harnesses were
got the
expensive.
we got the medium. 2, 3 months later, he still hadn't grown anymore.
I think he's done.
Yeah.
I think he's done.
Um, and he eventually learned that there was just enough give that he could back out of the harness in certain situations. He
Hmm.
didn't do it all the time, but he chose very awkward moments to do it.
We look like
So
crazy
then,
people out there.
chasing him, yeah. So
God.
we ended up having to return the medium harness and finally get the small, and that's been fine since.
I'm
He
pretty
can't get
sure
out of it.
that when we went to visit your dad and he backed out of the harness right across the street from because the way that street's set up is there's two bungalow houses and then across the street is just a little bit of grass patch.
Yeah.
So we took him down there to go potty and he just backed out of it and that lady in one of the bungalows sits at her window in her chair and watches the TV with the window open. So I'm pretty sure she was sitting out there watching us like crazy people trying to catch our dog.
Yeah, 'cause he thought a massive game had started.
Yeah.
He
He'll
wasn't
realize
trying to.
he gets too far and then he'll come back. But once
Yeah,
you try to catch him, he's like, "Nope."
he wasn't actually trying to like run up and down the street or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he thought like,
We were trying to catch him and play a game.
yeah,
He always thinks everything is a game when we're trying to catch him or trying to discipline him.
yep,
He thinks it's a game. So, Uh, yeah, so we invested in a really long lead because we knew that he was going to have to be able to run and play, but we still wanted to be responsible and keep him on a lead, in case,
hmm
he wasn't comfortable with another dog. We didn't,
Also, here legally you have to have your
yeah,
dog on a lead. It's just that
some people just don't
because
care.
that law only came in within like the past maybe 6 to 8 years. Um, it's not even that they've still got a dog that they raised to be off the lead as a puppy. It's just that they don't want to learn, oh, I need to keep my dog on a lead now.
Yeah,
So, they probably had a dog that was very well behaved off its lead, and then they got the next dog and they were just like, well, I don't want to put this on a lead because I walked my old one without a lead for years and it was easier. So, right away from a little puppy, I'll just train it to not be on a lead at all,
yeah.
and it's
It's
awful.
very awkward when we go to because where we moved, we now have a larger spot for him to be able to play. It's massive. So I'll take him out there on his really long lead, and it gets really awkward when people bring their dogs with no lead
Mhm.
because it takes me forever to reel him in.
Yeah,
If and he tends to try to back out of the harness still if he wants to play and he's realizing that he's on a lead. So he can't run around with that other dog freely like that other dog can. So he
yeah,
will try to back out the lead on me. So um, it gets really awkward with that. But it still gives him a sense of freedom of not being like
well, yeah, because literally we
tightly.
can take his ball, throw it, and he's running for a good like 15 seconds, 20 seconds to get the ball, and then he can run all over the place and
Mhm.
he brings it back to us.
Yeah.
He always does what we call the victory lap.
Yeah, the victory lap.
Yeah,
So if you throw the ball and he makes it to the end of his lead, right? It doesn't like, jerk him, but it's just that sweet spot of where like he can't go any further, but the ball is right there. He will run to get it and he'll grab it really quickly and then he'll just like do this whole circle thing. And
yeah,
he'll come back. And it's a victory lap. But he tends to do a whole lap when both me and you go because he'll come back and then he'll wrap his lead around
yeah.
us. He doesn't really do that with me anymore. If I'm sitting in the grass and I throw the ball, he'll usually come to the right side and then he'll either
That's why I
lay down
feel
or
like it
drop
is a
it.
victory lap though, because he's got to show us both that hey, I
I
got
got
the
the ball.
ball. Yeah.
I got the ball. And we have to have a specific ball. We can't just take any ball to the park. He doesn't like it. So I actually keep Charlie's ball in my bag so we can go to the park and play. So, yeah. And he knows it's so cute when I take him to the park with the long lead because he knows the difference between his long lead and his short lead. So he knows a short lead is we're gonna go out the gate and to the left, and we're just gonna walk up to the into the top of the street, then we're gonna come back, potty time. But if he knows that if I pull down the long lead, that we're turning to the right and we're going to the field, and he gets super excited about it. And once we get to the field, he'll stand there in front of me because he knows I have the ball in my bag, and he's
Yeah.
just like, "Are you gonna give it to me? Are you gonna throw it? I know
He
you've got
wags
it."
his tail that hard that he wiggles.
Yeah, he.
He's got a little butt wiggle. Yeah.
But when it's not just when he's excited, but when he just goes for a walk, you call it his swagger.
Yeah.
he's, he'll like hold his head up and he'll just do this whole. It's almost like that slow scene in the movies where you like see those like girls with long hair going like this, and they'll go with their. He walks like that, and his butt just. It's like, do you know you're cute? Is that why you do this?
I think
So,
he does. I
yeah.
definitely think he does. Because he
Well,
tries
he's
to
been told
use
his
it
whole life
against
he's
us.
cute, so.
Yeah. We definitely inflate that dog's ego too much.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Like
Tell him he's too cute.
80% of our vocabulary with him is that he's handsome, he's a good boy, he's cute.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The whole, he's a cutie.
Yeah.
He's just a handsome boy. He knows it. He knows exactly what it means. He knows what good boy is. But if you tell him no, oh
Oh yeah.
gosh, that's he. Yeah, weren't we talking about it yesterday? We were talking about he looks possessed.
Yeah.
Like if he's doing something he's not supposed to do, and you tell him no, it's real quiet for a second. He kind of like turns his head, like perks his ears, gets real wide-eyed, and he stays that way for about 5 to 10 seconds, just staring at you, and then he'll start barking
Yeah.
madly. It's like, are you possessed? Like, so
What
that's why
I
I'm
said
saying
the
he's
other
a
day
demon.
is the whole he literally just gives you that look like, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, like that whole like little video. You sure about that?
Yeah.
You sure about that? Like, I'm sure about that. You're not supposed to be
Because he'll be
chewing
like
that.
all excited and
Yeah,
like not barking but like making his little like excited like her kind
yeah.
of noises,
He has
and then
a
you say
little.
no,
"Grr."
and it's literally just yeah.
And it's like, oh no, the neighbor.
You know when he's about to start barking.
But he has the cutest little excited huffs.
Yeah.
So when we let him out of his bed, um, like in the mornings when it's time to go potty, he'll grab his favorite toy and he'll jump on the bed, and he's got the cutest little chomps because he holds it with his front teeth, and his lips just kind of fold over it, so he's got like this little fat like cheek thing going on here, and he just does that whole wiggle all over the bed, goes and you just can't. You just when he does that, I just can't ever be mad at him.
Yeah.
He's just too cute. But my mom got him a T-shirt that was fitting before I left. It's a bright blue T-shirt. It's cute but psycho. And
It
I'm
is
like,
accurate.
if that's not the most accurate thing I've ever seen. Um, and I have it too, so he wears it every now and then. Um, yeah. But he also wears sweaters,
It does.
jumpers, whatever you want to call it. And he had a whole jumper collection.
He hasn't had to in a little bit, but he might need to, depending on how cold it gets this
Yeah.
winter. Where we were living when we first got him was disgustingly cold. Um,
Oh yeah, that was
like again,
ridiculous.
for anyone watching from the UK, just to put it into perspective, like the energy rating of the property was E. And you could put all the radiators in the house on, but unless you were sat on top of the radiator, you couldn't feel it.
Nope.
So he was this tiny little thing who, aside from when he ate his food and he had his big belly, he was so skinny and scrawny too.
Mhm.
And yeah, he would sit and shiver.
Yeah.
So we had all sorts of blankets for him to lay on.
He had a hot water bottle. He
Yeah,
stole my hot water bottle. Like I got that because I have PCOS, so I have really bad like period pain, and so when we got him and it was so cold, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to give up my hot water bottle because I just can't. He was just too tiny, and I'm like, he's gonna get sick.
yeah.
So I every day, like 2 or 3 times a day, I would boil the kettle and I would put it in his hot water bottle and put it under a blanket, and that's where he would sleep. He would sleep right on top of it because it was warm. But
And often when we had like the L-shaped couch, we'd both sit like on either side of him, and he'd have his own little blanket fort
in
with
the little
pillows and
corner,
stuff. Yeah, and we put the hot water bottle under that, and then blankets surrounding him too,
yeah,
with his jumper on, and sometimes the jumper and the t-shirt.
yeah. There were times he would wear two jumpers.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I'll never forget when my sister sent him those cute pajamas.
yeah,
Oh my god. They were so cute. I was about to die. I was just like, what? Because Macy didn't tell me that she had sent me anything and
we
got
just
a
got a
package.
random Amazon package.
She put his name on it. Yeah, it's just Charlie on it. I was like, who is sending my dog stuff? I didn't order anything for him. And then, like, about 10 minutes after I got the package, my sister was texting me and she was just like, did you get your package? And I'm like, you sent it to me? So, he was more interested in the cardboard.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah, that it was shipped in. It took us a while to get him into the pajamas, but they were so cute. They were this light blue, kind of like fleece, fuzzy, and they had little white stars, and it had a like white trim, a hood, and his butt hung out.
yeah,
So like it had the legs for the back. So it would go over his head in his front paws, and then it would stop right, like not right before his tail, but like maybe an inch or two before his tail. And then it would have the two back legs that you would attach.
yeah.
So his butt was hanging out, and it just had like his little tail. It was like a beacon through the house. And he was just so cute. And she got him a sweater and
Those balls too,
balls. Yeah, like the little 3-pack of balls that she
and
got
then
him.
the bones as well.
Yeah, and then she got him the light up collar.
Yeah.
And the reason she got him light up collar is because all of our dogs have the light up collar too. Remy's got like a pink one, and Opie is blue, and Jax is red. So in the dark, you can see them out there flashing, and you know who is who. So yeah, so she got him a little blue flashing collar, and he was just the cutest little puppy. He was so spoiled,
It was.
and he's never even met my mom and my sister, and they already love him completely. Um, yeah, they've spoiled him rotten. I want to get another pair of those pajamas that he can fit in now because he's just
Yeah.
too cute. So, um, yeah, so we've had a lot of experiences with Charlie. Um, we're gonna have a really big experience in a few years with Charlie that I'm very nervous about. Um,
Especially after we saw that random video of the guy having a mental breakdown because they lost his dogs. Not just dogs singular, dogs plural.
dogs,
Yeah.
like he had two dogs, and the airline
And
lost them.
they were like one was fairly young,
Yeah,
but the other was like quite old.
yeah.
Like that's
So
got to be the most heartbreaking thing ever. Like aside from if it was your kid, but then your kid can ride next to you. So,
yeah,
but
if he was
aside
small
from a
enough,
kid, that has to be like one of the worst feelings ever. A dog, especially that old, and then like you never know if you're ever gonna see them again.
yeah, if he was small enough and he could fit into the approved kennel, he could be in the cabin with us.
I feel like unfortunately we'd probably get like noise complaints, and I don't know how they'd handle that.
Yeah,
You might already kick off in the airport while boarding the plane, and then they say, no, you're not going to be able to come on board with them. You need to go reschedule and do something else.
yeah,
Because I don't think they're going to allow barking. Like, he wouldn't bark the entire time, but they wouldn't allow the risk of barking for a, what, like 12-hour flight?
9 hour flight, nine ten
Well,
hour flight.
yeah.
But the I already spoke to his vet about it. They suggested a minor sedation.
Hmm.
So it's a pill that we give him before we go to the airport. So by the time that we get to the airport, he will be
Yeah.
out. So, and I have just like I've personally not felt comfortable just checking him like with the airline because you can do that if you can find an airline that will just allow you to check your dog. I don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So, because they put them in cargo, you know, that's got to be freaking scary. Like in
Hmm.
cargo, have no idea where you are. It is very loud and there is nobody around. So, I chose to use a company that will ship him through British Airways. So, um, and that's the only way that British Airways actually allows you to bring dogs. They don't allow you to check them anymore. If they can't fit in the cabin with you, you cannot check them. Um, but you can use a company that takes care of the dogs. So they have a separate area in the plane that a member of
They're
staff,
actually looked after
yeah, a member of
actively.
staff is there.
Yeah.
If they need to go potty, they can, like, they have a small, like, little turf area like you see in the airports, just small enough for them to go to the bathroom and then clean, and then they go back to their beds.
Hmm.
And if they need another sedation pill, you can give that to them, and they will give it to them at the right time,
Yeah.
so they're not freaking out. So I would much rather have that level of care for
Hmm.
him, especially with that long of a flight, because it's not going to be one flight, it's going to be two.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's one of the many reasons, aside from the visa processing time to begin with, why we probably won't be returning to the US for like maybe 3 years, depending on how it goes,
yeah.
is because that, among many other things, we're gonna have to do a lot of saving for.
Yeah.
Um, like that was a big thing. Like the I'm very happy that your family is so generously willing to help us and allow us to stay with them for however long it takes or however long we need to. Um, but especially since I'm not going to be allowed to work for some period of time, I want us to have like the ability to support ourselves.
You'll be able to work.
Not right away though, right?
Hmm.
Huh.
You'll be able
Well,
to work.
again, I don't know if it's going to find me. It would take me a bit to
Well, yeah, I
find a
know.
job because
I
I'm not
understand you not being able to
experienced with
find a
any of
job for
that.
a little while because you're gonna
Yeah.
have to get used to all that. You're gonna have to figure out how the job, finding a job works and interviews and all that stuff. But yeah, with your visa, because you will be your spouse,
Mm.
with that particular visa, you come into the country, you can work immediately.
Don't I need to wait for a green card though, you said?
No.
So I've got that day one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. It's just very confusing because
It's
we've
very different.
talked about like no, I know, but I mean confusing from the perspective like we had planned it like 6 different ways.
Yeah.
And in some of those ways, I did need to wait a period of time, and some of them I didn't, and it's sort of become
Yeah.
muddled. But still, regardless, especially because there are going to be costs day one, food, toiletries, like
Dog food.
bedding, anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, and you may not even be able to get a job for a little bit. We'd probably want at least like a few weeks to a month to settle in before you have to worry about getting a job, and hopefully I can get one not long after you or around the same time. Um, but we just want a nice little cushion to like fall back on.
Yeah.
Um, and also to prepare for unforeseen expenses because who knows what could happen. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you'll.
The moment I get there, I might trip and break my leg, and suddenly I've got a $5,000 medical bill. So, yeah,
Yeah, that's a thing that we'll have to look at for you is health insurance.
yeah,
So, um, you can get them through the marketplace or you can get them through your employer or whatever. If we don't, of course we're not gonna have a job right off the bat. So the best place to do it would get you health insurance from the marketplace.
yeah. I
It's
know.
affordable. So,
It's just a big
but
thing to me that I didn't want to go there and rely on your family for more than we need to. Like, I want to put them out as little as possible. Not that, like, we're gonna, like, try and get an apartment instantly or anything, not like that necessarily.
no, because we're getting
But,
a tiny house.
yeah. But I wouldn't want to, like, oh, we don't have any money for food. Or,
Yeah.
oh, you've, like, we've come in the house and started using, like, that toilet paper. And it's like, oh, the toilet paper's run out.
Yeah.
Like, if we see, if we're using those things, communal things, we've got the money to just say, okay, let's just go to the store
The
and
house never runs out of toilet
uh,
paper.
you know what I mean? No,
I know
like,
what you mean. It's a joke. The
yeah,
house there never runs out of toilet paper because we have too many people that need to go to the bathroom when they
I
need
know,
to go.
but they might have settled into a comfortable amount of toilet paper to have on backlog for 3 people, and then there's going to be 5 people.
Yeah,
So,
I think it'll
but
be
just
good.
generally, basically, uh, if I'm using stuff of someone's, I like to be able to pay my fair way.
Right.
And yeah,
Yeah.
if something did go wrong with me finding a job or something and it took longer than expected, like it would suck to constantly have to like ask other people for money. I want us to be able to support ourselves
Yeah.
in the interim period, and again,
Yeah.
if there are like emergency
I think it'll.
things.
I think it'll all be fine. I think it'll all be good, and we'll save what how what we need to save, and then I think Charlie will be a lot happier too because it will
Yeah,
be a big backyard for him to just run until his little heart's desired, and there are other dogs for him to play with, and you know, my mom was absolutely obsessed with Jazz. She wanted a cocker spaniel really badly, so I think that's why she loves Charlie so much. Because he's a cocker spaniel, and I love Jazz, and I miss Jazz. Jazz was such a good boy,
mm,
and yeah, so I think it'll be really good for him to be able to have a big backyard and other, other dogs to play with, other people to be around, and I think
Yeah.
it'll help him settle a lot more than it
Mhm.
does here because there's just not enough room for him
Yeah.
to run as much as he wants. Because the way that we work with our dogs is if it's not too hot and it's not too cold, open the door and let them go until they're ready. And they will let you know when they're ready because Pippa will come put her paws up on the door and because she's ready to come in, and you'll see Lucy sitting there looking. Remy, because she's big enough, you can see her through the window come in, and the boys, they're ready to come in, when
I've
they
heard
come to
your
the
mum say a
door.
few times that they let them know when they want to come back in.
And they'll let you know when they want to go out too, because Remy has this tendency to where the back door, unless you pull it completely shut, it still stays ajar. She will go over to the door, push the door open, stand there while Pippa and Lucy run out. So she opens the door for the other two dogs, and then she'll go. So yeah, she's a very smart dog. We had to actually start clipping the chain on our fence because she learned how to nudge the fence gate open. Just go. So sorry, mom. I taught her how to do that. Yeah. So I think it'll be really good for him to learn how to settle. He can play as much as he wants. He's plenty of room, plenty of space. Just
Yeah.
run as much as you like. Let me know when you want to come back in. I don't care what you do, just as long as you don't eat nothing.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be anything for him to eat besides grass. So
Or a snake.
yeah, or a snake. You might see one. All right, well, we are over by 3 minutes. So,
Okay.
but that's everything about Charlie. Really, he's a possessed demon dog that lives in our home, and we cannot exercise him, obviously. So, but he's still cute and
He's
has his quirks.
very adorable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Kind of outweighs everything else.
yeah. All right, so this is going to be the end of the podcast for this one. Just remember that we are going to start doing polls next week for spooky season. We're going to start doing the serial killer, mystery kind of thing. We're going to put a poll on Facebook and let people pick what they want to know. We're going to do our research throughout the week, and we're going to talk about true crime serial killers for Spooky Tober. I'm so excited. It's October next week. So, yeah, that's going to be the theme for October. Super excited about it. All right, everybody. Well, once the poll is posted, everybody has decided what they want. I will announce what the next topic will be. And yeah, just remember also, if you are an Amazon Prime member, you have not subscribed to anybody, you can subscribe to us for free. You get one subscription with your Amazon Prime for free. All right, well, this is the end of our podcast, and we thank you guys for joining us. We hope you enjoyed everything, learning about Charlie. All right,
Bye, guys.
bye!